urban environment, a setting which has given many challenges to armored vehicles throughout history. The labyrinth-like placement of buildings allows for enemies to conceal themselves behind places you would not expect, making people paranoid at every corner they turn. City Map first appeared in version 1.18. Back then, City Map was a much different place. It was darker even during the day back, when the day-night cycle mechanic still existed. When the darkness of night fell, there would actually be some ambient light from the surrounding street lights and neon store signs to assist in seeing in the dark. Of course, this isn't the only difference. City Map used to be more claustrophobic. Since there were way more buildings, the midpoint of the map was not as open as it is now. You can see in this video showing off 1.18 City Map where there is a red building with walls around it in the middle. Nothing much changes from 1.19 through 1.22, only more graphics polishing. Although note here that anti-tank missiles have an easier time flying under the bridge without hitting its underside. With the arrival of to .0 the day-night cycle was removed. City Map was made to take place during twilight right before night with more prominent and brighter ambient lighting. And of course textures were changed too to .OS style. But in approximately to .3 City Map received its biggest change. Also, many buildings were removed in favor of more openings in wide areas, giving us the City Map we know today. Team I seems to get the long end of the stick for this map, as Team 1 has more safer access to a large majority of the map compared to the other teams. Our first position is a very cheeky spot, located on the north side of the map, across from the flipped over boss. There are the buildings next to each other, and between their corners is a small slit you can shoot through. Although it only offers line of sight to enemies near the ramp leading up the highway bridge. The position doesn't hide your hull, but it does make your profile much thinner and there's a good pop out and shoot point. Next, I wouldn't say this would be a position, but a whole collection of sub-positions. This would be a bunch of positions connected along the same road. Located on the same road as the last position mentioned, this road leads to multiple opening roads looking to the opposite side of the map, usually festering with Team 2. I marked these as sub-positions since they are all very similar, but just looking to different spots of the south side of that map. Plus, this video is long enough, and also I am too lazy to cover each part. These small road openings provide decent duck and cover points where you can quickly get behind cover. if the same road isn't exactly safe, then we can use the previously mentioned flipped over boss's cover. It offers cover as well, and tail end of the bus near the wall provides a usable slip to shoot enemies from. The angling of the bus also is very useful for making it a good pop out and shoot point, allowing you to take targets to the south. Breaking away from that road, we have this one corner where a car is. We can use that car to go into a hold down position and face enemies attempting to enter this area. Although this position is best suited for tackling an enemy camping on the far end of the road behind the bridge. This next position is commonly used by everyone. It's the standard pop out and shoot corner. Here you can engage bold enemies attempting to cross out in the open, but just shoot them whilst they come out spotted. Although be wary that you are virtually exposed on the side every time you go out and shoot. Now we move on to a spot away from the previous area, located near the freeway entrance ramp at the far corner, at the far west corner. This is mainly for enemies that have pushed up enough that they are close to your spawn. It is secluded enough that you won't be noticed as easily. Now moving forward onto the highway, you should stop before reaching the top of it. In case you encounter enemies on top, you can use the freeway ramp slope as a way to go hold down. Although sniping enemies at the far end of the highway may be tricky, onto the rest of the highway, it offers a vantage point over a large span of the map. The small amount of cars parked to the side also offers great hold-down points to engage other enemies on the highway. Interestingly, there is a climbable building in the middle where it offers better range of targets to shoot at. To be honest, though, this spot earns more kills through people attempting to climb up the highway than targeting areas below it. Now highlighting the biggest weakness about this bridge. Most enemies will typically avoid your gun depression range since they mostly travel in areas that are below your gun depression. You can somewhat negate the gun depression issue by using atoms, but of course atoms aren't all that reliable in game. You probably should also note that you will contend with enemies on the opposing raging team, to spawn which will lead to sniper battles. Another cheeky spot I found on this bridge is this small pocket in the corner. It normally isn't accessible, but depending on vehicle you can bypass the wall by driving backwards. It is a great hold-down point, but be warned, once you go in you are stuck there until you get killed or the match ends. For the final spot for team by this corner under the bridge is great for catching enemies moving out of their spawn. It offers a long and blocked view down a road where you can pop in and out of cover to pick off anyone who attempts to leave. Also note that this spot can get congested due to your team all huddling in one place. Team 2's positions have a lot to be desired. They have way fewer advantageous positions, most of which are restricted to their side of the map. If the player wishes to travel elsewhere, then they create a high risk of exposing themselves to enemy fire. This first position found near the middle of the map leading to Team I's spawn is good for popping out and shooting them, retreating behind the wall. It isn't a tall wall either, so you have a better range to see what enemies are around the corner. Although do be careful of enemies coming from the alleyway where the fallen bus is. A second spot is here near the freeway entrance. Oh yes, on the topic of the freeway. Team 2 really does not have as good access to it. This is because the ramp up to it is facing the enemy team's side of the map as well as out in the open, making it quite easy for the enemy to shoot at anyone attempting to get up to the freeway. So now we are left to this spot. It offers good hold-down protection against enemies to the right. However, for enemies looking down the road under the bridge, the only thing really protecting you is a support column for the freeway. Our next spot is way more interesting. To the back of Team 2's spawn there is a small freeway. It's a good spot to snipe anyone in the midpoint or threatens your team's spawn. Some enemies may approach from the slope up. With this you can use your high ground to your advantage and shoot while hiding your hull. Though it depends on your vehicle shape and layout depending on turret placement and vehicle height. Speaking of height, enemies that are right below you are impossible to engage. You can somewhat splice them using buildings with you, but it will take ages. The biggest opposition you will find are, of course, enemies on the opposite bridge. Although here the eye isn't really that smart or threatening, you will have to get into sniper battles with them, having to deal with each other, both being behind concrete barriers, which make it harder to hit each other. This last spot is honestly the best in terms of seeing the most action and being generally protected. It looks directly down the road where Team 1 are all coming out on. Of course, it is the shoot and run back into cover position, but due to your faraway distance from approaching enemies and a conveniently placed street light, you will have shots miss you more often and have the bonus of the street light catching some shots. If you still aren't so sure, then there is a car in the back in which you can also go hold down to. Team I has a lot of routes to travel on to steal and capture a flag. The first I am showcasing is going through the bridge. Now most normal people simply can go under the bridge to get to enemy team. but that opens yourself up to enemies that are also coming out of spawn. Upon seeing you, they will engage you before you reach their flag. Instead, I will go over the bridge. Instead of completely driving to the other end of the bridge using the ramp down. I will instead leap off halfway, and if you are lucky and know how to maneuver yourself, you can not automatically reset upon flipping over. This is to better prevent anyone from shooting you. And now we simply cut our way through to their flag. Now, after grabbing the flag, we must travel down this road. It is not frequented much by enemies, although they occasionally do spawn here. Here the bots tend to stay still, but in online, players tend to wander off. If you are getting chased, I really suggest you hug the left side to have buildings cover you. If you are bold enough, you can also simply just cut through the middle of the map. Of course, everyone and their grandma will see you. Of course, all of this can be done backwards. Take the uncommon Far East Road. Then repeat going down that road. to their more disadvantage in comparison to Team 1. Team 2 is mainly limited to a single route, which still is dangerous. You mainly have to go through this one tiny gap here under the freeway and then turn left into the enemy spot. That is if you don't get detected and annihilated after going out from under the bridge. If you were to cut through the middle of the map or use the route where the flipped over buses, you would be out in the open, detected. Now you simply go down this road and hope no one notices you. Now you will go down the same road, but this time use the freeway. You can either make your way across to the end of the freeway or like me drop down and hope you land. Even if you mess up the landing, enemies probably won't know where you failed at, so you can quickly retrieve the flag. You can also attempt to get to enemy base by climbing up the ramp, but this will open your rear to be attacked.